Hi there! Have you ever felt unsure and nervous in front of a camera? Definitely I have. This is my journey to gain camera confidence and English fluency. Welcome to my channel Camera Confidence Project Day 13. Today I will be talking about a bit about camera quality, filler words, and a bit a review of our yesterday's video. So let's dive in. Uh, from yesterday's, I can start with the review I'm going to have with you guys. That yesterday I tried to make my sound quality better and had a green screen behind me and also had some blankets. But our quality got a bit better. That I must say that, but still, it's a long way to go. So today I'm thinking of leaving this topic at the moment. The reason for that is that I think I have to do a bit more a thorough, a more deeper analysis how I can better my sound quality. So until I have found a solution for that, we will just continue as we do. Before we go further on, I want to invite Noor. Hi there, Noor.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you please repeat or clarify what you meant?
I said hi, Noor, and we have already started the session for today in recording, so you can say hi to our viewers.
Salam, hi, namaste, and sasrikal, everyone. It's great to have you with us today. I'm here with Sajid Mukhtar, and we're ready to dive into another engaging conversation. What's today's topic, Sajid?
Today we will be talking about two topics, the filler words and shutter speed. The reason for I want you to take a role of a experienced photographer or videographer to explain me the consequences of shutter speed in...
Got it, Sajid. Let's get started. Salam, hi, namaste, and sasrikal, everyone. Today, we're diving into some essential photography and videography concepts, filters and shutter speed. I'll be taking on the role of an experienced photographer to help Sajid understand these topics better. So Sajid, let's start with filters. Filters are accessories you attach to the front of your camera lens. They come in various types, each serving a specific purpose. For example, UV filters protect your lens from scratches and dust. Polarizing filters reduce glare and enhance colors, and neutral density (ND) filters reduce the amount of light entering the lens, allowing for longer exposure times without overexposing the image. Moving on to shutter speed, it refers to the amount of time your camera's shutter is open, exposing the sensor to light. A fast shutter speed, like 1/1000th of a second, freezes motion, making it great for action shots. A slow shutter speed, such as 1/30th of a second, captures motion blur, which can be used creatively for effects like light trails or smooth water. Sajid, do you have any specific questions or scenarios you want to explore further about filters or shutter speed?
I need to have some more information about the shutter speed, specifically when you're recording. What kind of effect does it have? That I understand that in a photo, when you're doing a photo, that it makes different effects, but I'm a bit unsure what kind of effect we have when we do have shutter speed in videography. So could you please explain me a bit more about it? Remember that I'm using Insta360 X3 and I want to have manual settings for that, and my purpose is to have more crisp photo when I'm filming. At the moment I'm doing in log version of this Insta360, so please give me advice what kind of shutter speed I need to have a very crisp and clear image. The reason for that is that the earlier video I have recorded, it gets a bit blurry sometimes, and it isn't also a very clear, and I also lose a bit of colors in it. It seems like a bit more flat picture. So could you
All right, Sajid, let's dive deeper into shutter speed for videography and how it affects your footage, especially when using the Insta360 X3. Shutter speed in videography plays a crucial role in how motion is captured. The general rule for a natural-looking motion in video is to set your shutter speed to double the frame rate. For example, if you're shooting at 30 frames per second, FPS, your shutter speed should be 1/60th of a second. This creates a natural motion blur similar to what our eyes perceive. However, if you want a crisper, clearer image with less motion blur, you can increase the shutter speed. A higher shutter speed, like 1/120th or 2/40th of a second, will reduce the motion blur, making each frame sharper. The trade-off is that the footage can look more staccato or choppy, especially with fast movement, but it sounds like this is what you're aiming for with your Insta360 X3 footage. For your Insta360 X3, here are some tips to achieve crisp, clear video. 1. Set your shutter speed. Since you want crisp footage, try setting your shutter speed higher than the standard double the frame rate rule. For instance, if you're shooting at 30 FPS, start with a shutter speed of 1/120th of a second and adjust from there based on your results. 2. Manual settings. Make sure you switch to manual mode on your Insta360 X3 to have control over the shutter speed. 3. Lighting. Higher shutter speeds require more light since the sensor is exposed for a shorter time. Ensure you have good lighting conditions to compensate for the reduced light intake. If you're filming in low light, you might need to increase your ISO or use additional lighting to maintain the correct exposure. 4. ND filters. If you're shooting in bright conditions, using ND filters can help. These filters reduce the amount of light entering the lens without affecting the color of the scene, allowing you to maintain a higher shutter speed without overexposing your footage. By adjusting your shutter speed and ensuring you have proper lighting, you should be able to achieve the crisp and clear footage you're looking for with your Insta360 X3.
what I have
Do you
done?
have any specific scenarios you'd like to discuss further?
Yes.
Or any other questions about these settings?
As I understand, as I understand, is that when you have higher shutter speed, and the picture will become more crisper since you have less time to it has less time to exposure for each frame, and that's the reason you will get a crisper photo. But the trade-off in that is then you have less time for the light, and your video will be a bit more darker. So what I have done now, I think I have set my shutter speed for 1/200, and I have 3 lights in front of me. That is all the 4 lights, which I have. But I think, and I have set the ISO to max 400, and we're recording in a log profile, and I think I'm not sure how it will go, but maybe the footage will be a more crisper, which is the desired situation, since I am not satisfied with I'm not satisfied with already these footage we have already made. And I have also a question also, is that
You're on the right track, Sajid. Setting your shutter speed to 1/200th and using good lighting with your 4 lights should help you achieve crisper footage. Your ISO setting at 400 is also a good balance to avoid introducing too much noise while ensuring enough light sensitivity. Recording in a log profile is a great choice as it captures more dynamic range, allowing for better color grading in post-production. Just make sure to carefully review your footage to see if the changes meet your expectations. If you notice any issues, consider slightly adjusting your ISO or lighting setup. You can always tweak the settings to find the perfect balance for your desired crispness and clarity. How do you feel about the changes so far? Are there any specific scenes or situations you'd like more advice on?
Yeah, maybe you can also give me an analyze on as I'm doing this headshot, since I'm only talking it, and I do not have a lot of motion in my recording. So in a way, I think these settings will be good. But the other question I have to you is that when I see the footage afterwards, it's a bit flattish. It's a bit flat picture, and I know that it's a logarithmic profile. It usually gets a bit flat. But what do you have to do to bring back the colors? And what's your suggestion on that? How can I make my recording a bit more colorful?
Since you're doing headshots with minimal motion, your current settings are quite suitable. The higher shutter speed will give you that desired crispness without much motion blur, which is perfect for talking head videos. Regarding the flat look of your footage, this is expected with a log profile. It preserves more detail in the highlights and shadows, giving you greater flexibility in post-production. To bring back the colors and make your footage more vibrant, you'll need to color grade your video. Here's a step-by-step approach. 1. Use color grading software. Programs like Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro are excellent for color grading. 2. Apply a LUT lookup table. A LUT can quickly transform your flat log footage into a more vibrant and colorful video. Look for a LUT that matches your log profile. Many camera manufacturers provide LUTs specifically for their log profiles. 3. Adjust basic color settings. Start with adjustments to exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. This will help you get the basic balance right. 4. Fine-tune color balance. Adjust the temperature and tint to get natural-looking skin tones. You can also tweak the saturation and vibrance to enhance colors without making them look unnatural. 5. Secondary color corrections. Use tools like color wheels and curves to fine-tune specific colors or ranges, enhancing the overall look and feel of your video. By carefully color grading your footage, you can bring back the vibrancy and make your videos look more polished and professional. If you need any specific tips on using these tools, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much for this information, Noor. Now I want to go to the next topic of today is the filler words. When I looked at my recording yesterday, it seems that I'm using words like as in between sentences. And in a way, I do not notice that when I'm talking, but when I'm seeing the video afterwards, it seems that though I use quite a lot of those filler words. So what kind of knowledge do you have about those filler words, and how can we avoid that?
Filler words like like, and are common in everyday speech, especially when we're thinking about what to say next. They can become more noticeable in recordings and might affect the flow of your videos. Here are some tips to help reduce filler words. 1. Awareness. The first step is becoming aware of your use of filler words. Since you've already noticed them in your recordings, you're on the right track. 2. Pause and breathe. Instead of filling pauses with words, take a breath. Pausing gives you a moment to collect your thoughts and can make your speech sound more deliberate and confident. 3. Practice speaking slowly. Speaking at a slightly slower pace can help you think ahead and reduce the urge to use filler words. 4. Prepare your content. Knowing your material well can reduce the need for filler words. Outline your key points and practice your delivery several times. 5. Record and review. Continue recording yourself and reviewing the footage. Pay attention to when and why you use filler words. This will help you become more conscious of avoiding them. 6. Replace fillers with silence. It's okay to have a brief pause. It can make your speech sound more natural and give your audience a moment to absorb what you've said. Improving this skill takes practice, but with time, you'll find yourself using fewer filler words and speaking more confidently. How does that sound to you, Sajid? Any specific situations where you find filler words particularly troublesome?
As I have mentioned to you, I noticed yesterday that I'm using a lot of filler words, and most of the time I think it is when I'm thinking of what to say the next sentence. So in a way, I will instead have a pause.
I understand, Sajid. It's natural to use fillers when thinking about what to say next. One effective technique to manage this is to allow yourself a brief pause instead of filling the gap with words. This not only gives you a moment to think, but also makes your speech sound more deliberate and composed. Another strategy is to practice speaking with notes. Having a rough outline or key points written down can help guide you, reducing the need to think on the spot. Over time, as you become more comfortable and familiar with your material, the reliance on fillers will naturally decrease. Lastly, practice makes perfect. The more you record and consciously work on minimizing fillers, the better you'll get at it. Try recording a few takes, focusing solely on avoiding filler words, and compare them to see your progress. Keep practicing, and you'll see improvement over time. Do you have any specific phrases or thoughts you struggle with the most? We can work on those together.
Thank you, Noor, and I think we can work further on the next time we will meet again. Since our time for today is off, it's the time we do not have more time to discuss. So you can say goodbye to our viewers.
Of course, Sajid. Salam, hi, namaste, and sat sri akal, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We had a great discussion on shutter speed and filters, as well as tips to reduce filler words. We look forward to seeing you in our next session. Until then, take care and keep practicing.
Then we have discussed about shutter speed today, that the shutter speed has an effect of how crisp your photo or your video will be. As my purpose for changing these settings today is to get a more crisp video, since I wasn't satisfied with the other. But in that sense, I had to make all the lights I have in my room so it will be quite exciting to see how this setup and these settings with the light will affect in the video. And the other part we have been speaking about is the filler words. I noticed that I usually use the word several times specifically when I'm thinking what to say in the next sentence. So instead of using this filler word, I need to be a bit more aware of it and instead use pauses. As Noor also suggested that I can have a breathe instead. And it is a different way to speak, since in the normal life you have used these words in conversation, and as Noor also said that it's a bit awkward in the recording. So I will first of all be aware of it, and I will have a note here, as you see that I had this note for today's session that I must talk about. And I think I will also have a spare note each day to remember that I must not use the filler words. It is getting a bit long video today, but since I want to say that it's getting a bit long video, but that's part of my training session. So thank you very much to join us. All of you joined us in the day 13, and we will, if you have any comments or if you see that any suggestion to how I can improve my confidence, since that is the main purpose of this project. And the second is to learn a bit more about the technical part of it. So I think I'm progressing well, but it is still many days left. So wish me good luck and bye bye for today.